Welcome back to the deep dive. We've got a really fascinating set of sources this time, all pointing towards something pretty provocative. The idea of the end of software. Yeah, sounds dramatic, I know. But we're looking at materials from and about a company called manyforce. And they're positioning themselves as leaders of, well, a revolution in how businesses operate. They even make this direct comparison, which caught my eye, back to around 1999. Remember when cloud software first hit?
Oh, yeah. Salesforce in that era,
Yeah.
moving off physical servers, subscription models.
Yeah.
It completely changed things.
Exactly. And manyforce is basically saying, okay, that was big, but what's happened now, around 2025, is the next leap, moving beyond software itself.
It's a huge claim. So our mission today, for you listening, is to really get under the hood of this. What is manyforce actually proposing? They talk about replacing enterprise tools, software licenses, with something they call an autonomous AI workforce. And we need to understand what that means. It's not just like a different type of software. It sounds like a fundamental shift away from buying a tool towards buying labor delivered by AI. What does that imply for how work gets done, especially for knowledge workers?
Okay, let's start unpacking that. First, the why. Why does software need to end, according to them? They really kick off with a critique of how we work now. And honestly, it resonates. They argue that, we humans, we weren't really built for the kind of repetitive, almost robotic tasks that fill up so much of the workday. I mean, just think about your own week. I know I probably spend, maybe hours just copying data, updating fields across different systems, chasing things down. It's draining.
It really is. And their point is that globally, countless hours are just lost, sunk into these mundane processes. It kills creativity, drains energy.
Right. It feels like a massive missed opportunity. You've got smart people, knowledge workers, stuck wrestling with software that's often overly complex, maybe poorly integrated. It sometimes feels like the software causes more problems than it solves.
That's the core friction they're pointing to. We've
Yeah.
got all these tools, but the work itself hasn't really been optimized for humans. It's optimized around the limitations of the software, maybe.
Mhm.
So building on that critique, manyforce lays out this really clear vision. Their mission is basically to bring in this AI workforce to just take over those routine, necessary, but frankly inhuman tasks.
Okay, take them over.
How? So the goal of the state, they call it the Great Liberation, which is quite a phrase.
Yeah, no kidding.
But the idea is to free up us humans to be, and this is their term, more human.
Yeah.
So focus on the stuff AI can't do, creating, innovating, strategic thinking, building actual relationships.
The things that require judgment, empathy.
Precisely. And the name, manyforce, kind of signals that ambition, right? It's about scalable power, not just tweaking things. They're not talking about making existing processes 10% faster. They're talking about replacing entire functions. Transformative, not incremental.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Moving from the problem to the actual solution, because they draw some really sharp lines in the sand. This isn't just, better automation or fancier RPA.
No, they're quite explicit about that. It's a redefinition of value.
So let's hit their first big distinction, product definition. They say, flat out, we create digital workers, not software tools.
Right. That's fundamental.
So when you buy, say, a Salesforce license, you're buying a tool. A human still needs to operate it, configure it, input data into it.
Yep, it's a utility.
But manyforce says when you buy from them, you're essentially buying an employee, a digital one. They even say they transform code into scalable labor. That feels like a completely different transaction.
It absolutely is. Think about the cost implications. Software is often a capital expenditure or a predictable subscription. Labor is an operational expenditure, often based on output or time. It changes the whole financial model.
And that flows directly into their second key distinction, success metrics.
Exactly. Because if you're not selling a tool anymore, the old metrics don't apply.
Right. Traditional software. Success is adoption. How many seats did we sell? Are people logging in? Usage stats.
Standard SaaS metrics.
But manyforce says, forget that. Their line is, we deliver outcomes, not licenses.
And that's the core promise. It's a shift from enabling work to doing the work. Think about it. Most enterprise software helps a human do their job better or faster, hopefully.
Yeah, it enhances productivity.
Right. manyforce aims to fully automate the entire function. So let's take that RevOps example again. You wouldn't subscribe to a tool that helps your team manage pricing. You'd subscribe to the outcome of having your global pricing managed autonomously, 24/7.
Okay, but delivering an outcome, that sounds like they're taking on more risk, doesn't it? What if the AI worker, messes up, fails to deliver? Who's on the hook?
That's a really important question, and they seem to lean into it. The sources suggest the business model has to change to reflect that. If the outcome isn't delivered, say, the leads aren't processed correctly, or the forecast is off, then the payment is directly affected.
So performance-based pricing.
Seems like it. Tied to task completion, business results, it forces alignment. If the AI doesn't perform, the vendor doesn't get paid the same way. It's fundamentally different from selling a license where once you've bought it, it's kind of on you to make it work.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like hiring a contractor based on results versus just paying for their tools.
That's a good analogy.
Okay.
And this links back to the bigger picture. Enhancing human workflow versus deploying autonomous AI for entire processes. It's about scale, precision, operating around the clock. Amplifying potential by removing the human bottleneck from routine execution.
All right, so we've got the why and the what. Let's dig into the how. They talk about our approach in the materials. How does this AI workforce actually operate differently from, say, the automation tools we already have, like RPA, robotic process automation? We've had that for years.
Yeah, good point. RPA is often the first comparison people make.
And manyforce makes a very clear distinction up front. They say their digital workers are fully autonomous, not assistive. What does that mean in practice?
Well, think about RPA. It's typically quite brittle, right? It follows a pre-programmed script. Click here, copy this, paste there. If the website changes, if the software UI updates...
It breaks. Someone has to go in and fix the script.
Exactly. It needs human intervention. Manyforce claims their AI is different because it takes ownership of the outcome. It's not just following steps, it understands the goal. So if the environment changes, it should, in theory, adapt. It identifies errors, resolves them, figures out how to achieve the objective even if the path changes.
So less like a macro, more like
Right.
an actual worker figuring things out.
That seems to be the idea. More problem solver than the script follower. Another key aspect they highlight is integrated solutions.
Ah, okay. So less hassle connecting different tools.
Potentially. Instead of buying one piece of software and then having to figure out how to connect it to 5 other systems using APIs, or worse, manual workarounds, manyforce says they manage the whole stack needed for that specific function.
That would be a huge relief for IT departments if it works.
Absolutely. And the third piece, which is crucial, is learning. They claim these digital workers aren't static. They learn from experience.
How so?
Every task they complete, every error they encounter and fix, that data feeds back into their underlying model. So they should get better, faster, more accurate over time, continuously improving with more data and experience.
Okay, that's a big difference from traditional software, which usually only gets updated when the vendor pushes out a patch or a new version.
Exactly. And that continuous learning capability combined with autonomy and integration is what underpins their different business model.
All right, let's connect those dots, because the value proposition changes completely.
It does. Since it's outcome-focused, the value becomes results-driven, not feature-focused.
So the conversation with manyforce wouldn't be about, does your tool have this button or that feature? It's, did you achieve the agreed upon outcome? Did you reduce our processing time by 30%?
Precisely.
Mm.
It shifts the entire vendor relationship. And this leads directly to what might be the most disruptive part: scalability.
Ah, the headcount thing.
Yeah, their pitch is basically deploy digital workers instead of expanding headcount. Imagine you're a fast-growing tech company. Suddenly you need to triple your sales ops capacity.
Normally that means hiring more people, training them, getting them up to speed. It takes months. It's expensive.
Right. Manyforce suggests you can just deploy more digital worker capacity almost instantly. That completely changes the economics and speed of scaling.
So the value isn't tied to how many humans are using the software?
No, it's tied to execution. They call it task-based efficiency, not seat-based metrics. It's about the work getting done efficiently and at scale, regardless of how many seats are involved because, well, there are no seats.
Okay, this is compelling conceptually, but where is this actually being applied now? Are there real-world examples in the sources?
Yes, they are quite specific about their initial focus. They're targeting critical, high-impact business operations first.
Makes sense. Go where the pain is biggest.
Exactly. So areas like sales operations, revenue operations, RevOps, and broader go-to-market teams. These are functions where processes can be really complex, data-heavy, repetitive, but also directly tied to revenue generation.
Can you give an example, like what specific task?
Sure, think about something like sales forecasting or pipeline data cleansing. A human RevOps team might spend days pulling data from CRM, finance systems, spreadsheets, trying to reconcile everything to build an accurate forecast.
Yeah, I've seen that pain. It's messy.
So, a manyforce digital worker could be assigned the outcome of maintaining, say, a 99% clean data pipeline in the CRM and delivering a reliable daily forecast. It would autonomously handle pulling data, cleaning it, reconciling it across systems, and generating the report around the clock.
Without a human logging into 10 different dashboards.
That's the promise.
Oh.
And the sources also mention their current target market, which is interesting. London's B2B growth stage tech companies.
Why them specifically?
Well, think about it. Growth stage tech in a high-cost city like London, they're obsessed with two things: scaling rapidly and capital efficiency.
Right. Hiring lots of expensive knowledge workers quickly is a huge challenge.
Exactly. So if manyforce can offer them a way to scale critical operations like sales and RevOps using autonomous AI, instead of just hiring more people, that's incredibly attractive. It lets them allocate their human capital, their expensive human brains, to strategy, product development, customer relationships, the high-value stuff.
Okay, that makes strategic sense as a starting point.
So pulling it all together, manyforce's ambition isn't just marginal improvement. They're aiming to effectively make traditional enterprise software in these specific domains obsolete. They want to provide labor as a service. They position this as the key to unlocking genuine scale for organizations, letting them grow without limits, another one of their phrases, by taking away that operational drag. It's about maximizing human potential by removing the need for humans to do robotic work.
So reflecting on this for you, the listener, if this vision takes hold, the way businesses grow and operate could look fundamentally different. It's not about finding slightly better software tools anymore. It might be about subscribing directly to outcomes delivered by these autonomous digital workforces, moving beyond just refining the tools to actually replacing the human effort for certain types of tasks entirely.
Yeah, it really forces you to think, and perhaps this is the final thought to leave you with, building on these sources. If this trend continues, if code truly transforms into scalable labor for more and more enterprise functions, what's left? What are the core human roles that can't be automated away, even by sophisticated AI? If the repetitive, process-driven work disappears, where will the next generation of knowledge workers actually create value? What new skills, maybe centered on creativity, critical oversight, ethical judgment, complex problem framing? What becomes truly indispensable in a world increasingly run by autonomous systems? I get to definitely mull over.